Guys, thanks for coming back. You're at the lab. Update on this beastie here. 100% ready to go. Ready to tune. Not by a long way. So, quite a lot of progress, and unfortunately most of this progress is really boring as far as visuals go. You'll notice some sketty hanging down here. That's because it's no longer in its guard, its factory guard that lives in behind this panel just here that I'm pointing to, in between there and the radiator. That's currently residing on the bench so that I can shift a bunch of wires around, because the factory fuse box had been relocated into here, which is fine. It's an aftermarket mod. Heaps of people do it. Usually done to a relatively easy standard, and that it just ends up in the box just there. And if you have to change any fuses or relays or anything, you are in the shite, because you can't get the lid off and there's no access to it, and the bumper's covering it up, and it's all a big nightmare. So the owner had done that, and he'd done it the same way as everyone else had, and I'm not complaining, not saying he's done it wrong or anything like that. But I figured if we're going to all this effort, I want to make it at least a little bit usable. So this isn't the perfect way to do it either, but I've moved all the fuses into waterproof housings and given access, so you can take this nose panel off and you can at least get to the fuses. So if you're driving down the road and your headlights stop working, well, you've got a chance of fixing it on the side of the road, whereas you wouldn't have before. So there's a bunch of stuff. There's one fuse going to end up over here, but a bunch of that going on. As I said, it's all very boring. Not much to see. I think I've shown you the conversion to Wiggins clamps on the throttle bodies. Did I show you that? If not, I'm showing you now. So that's all done, waiting for powder coating. I'll powder coat it after we've got our nitrous oxide system in there. I'm not kidding, it does have nitrous oxide to go in there, and water methanol. Sorry, just water. You can't have water methanol injection on the road. Just water injection. And those things are going to live somewhere here. Realistically, to get a perfect, nice, good flow and even spread and all that sort of carry on, you'd probably put the nozzle here so that it goes straight at the throttle and into the plenum, down the runners, and it'll be more evenly spread. However, that's going to look, what's a cool word for it not looking good? Ghastly. With it hanging off here and a couple of hoses hanging off. So we'll tuck it away somewhere. It's possible it might, can't even see it. It might live down there so that it can point that way up this tube. That might be a go. There, you can sort of see it on the other side better than you can on this one. There and there. And then it's tucked away, you can't see it. You also can't work on it. It'd be very difficult to work on, but it'll look good. Rudely interrupted by Wi-Fi returning a tool. Now I can't remember where I was at. Fuel system's done. So there's some heat shields to go on. There's a exposed port. I don't know if I can even point to it over there for the nitrous oxide fuel supply stuff and things. It's a wet system, so you put fuel and NOS in at the same time. So we'll take that from over there. Fuel pressure regulator in a new spot. Quite nicely, I think, hidden away, and considering the tightness of a 300ZX engine bay and proximity of turbos and stuff and things. When we stand, if you've got the bonnet open, you stand here and you look at it like that. It's good, isn't it? You can see one fitting hanging out the top just there, but it's black and everything else is going to be black. The hose is black. It's pretty well hidden. You'll see the throttle cable. I've run that through a slightly different route to normal. So again, that's pretty well hidden. We're getting, or he's got, and he's going to send up another inlet manifold, plenum. I don't want to tear this one to pieces, it's too nice. We'll delete all these. We thought about doing it on the other car that's a similar colour and didn't, but on this one we will go ahead with that. It does take a lot of time, will cost heaps of time. I will charge him some of that, but not all of it, because it's a big job and we sometimes donate a little bit of time for things like that. Ethanol content sensor, on a bracket down here, which that'll get powder coated black, I guess. Same with the other one that holds the main fuel in. So AN8 fuel hose and pipe all the way through to the, what's it called, the module in the top of the fuel tank there, and AN6 return. So we've put the ethanol content sensor on the low pressure side after the regulator. May have to have got a 90-degree fitting for our pressure sensor. That's pressure only. Our oil one, which was probably going to go over there on that down there, that's pressure and temp. We don't have a temp one on the fuel because we've got temp in the ethanol content sensor. So starting at the back here, we haven't worried about black hoses here. It's under the bottom of the car. You can see them, yes, but I think that's fine. It kind of matches in with some other shiny stuff and things that are under here. So a little bit of silver just in that area there. That's okay. That'll need shielding, some type of shield here, too close to the exhaust for low volume vehicle cert. Rubberized P-clamps the whole way through, and attach the brake pipe as well. Brackets where required to achieve the distances that we need to do to get it all legal. This area here needs either the factory heat shield, which may fit, or an aftermarket one, self-made, i.e. Fitted to this area here. So there we go, that's that. You can't see much of what's happened with the curbotages, I frequently call them, just for a laugh, with the hair dryers, but we've got AN fittings on all the stuff and things for the cooling and all that sort of carry on, and refitted sort of the factory setup for there. It did have some drains coming down from the back of the heads and teeing into here, but that's just over this side. That was literally impossible. Just due to lack of space and stuff, trying to jam everything in there just wasn't going to work. I can see that needs to be tied away, or we will hit our universal cross for the steering, which is missing a bolt. That's fine, there's heaps of bolts missing on the car. So a bunch of wiring moved into a new sub harness that's going to run through this general area here and tucked up in there, instead of coming out way up the top there and doing its normal stuff and things. I think I showed you that. Trigger wheel done. That's a Link trigger wheel, 36 tooth. It may end up being 36 minus 1. These are aftermarket speed sensors, essentially trigger wheels, Hall effect sensors, and of course a Maybach there. So we can probably get on with putting some O2 sensors in here, running the wires up to where they need to be. I may actually cheat and just sneak them in up by the gear lever and run them across the trans tunnel and into this area here where the computer will be. It'll be easier than bringing them all the way back through the firewall. So that is almost the stuff and things under the car sorted out. There's some brackets and stuff to go and a bunch of suspension stuff, but we're just about at the point where we can put it back down on terra firma, maybe stick that up there out of the way, and start doing our Link G5 Voodoo Pro, it's called Voodoo Pro, yep, installation. Whoosh. I opened the door just to show you our lovely Link G5 Voodoo Pro, the Razor PDM, the CAN gauge, some Bosch O2 sensors. What else is in there? A bunch of stuff. Some cool things in there. And when I opened the door, it kind of reminded me of just how much more work there is to do. I need to make a new tank for the water injection kit, because yes, technically that will fit in the Z32 boot, but it's definitely not going to look good, and the boot's not going to be much use for pretty much anything else after that. There's a couple of catch cans down in there. I'm going to duck back around here. I'm going to make a catch can arrangement and radiator overflow tank that covers this area in. It makes this area look nice with our nitrous oxide stuff and things all hiding down in here. That's the plan at this point in time. That may change in the future, but that's the goal. Bunch of these fittings can disappear. They don't need to be here anymore with this particular setup, with the way we're going to manage things, and just make it look cleaner and tidier. Speaking of gauges, you can tell this was a car that's been built some time ago back in the day. Just not knocking or mocking, it's just how we did it. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, I think that's all of them. And I'm pretty sure that's, oh no wait, there's another one that went here somewhere. That console's hiding somewhere else. So 8 additional gauges over and above what the factory had on the dash. And of course now, with the advantages of modern tech, this one unit, that one there, is effectively 12 gauges. And you only need to put one hole in the car, or one holder. I don't think I've even opened this and looked at it yet. So, how time moves on, eh? A lot of things are the latest and greatest when you put them in there, and they're all super cool. But like Space Shuttle, right? That was awesome at the time. And then we figured out it wasn't as awesome as we thought it was, and now we don't even use those anymore. They're a museum piece. Not that the gauges in here are a museum piece, but you know what I mean. Cool, all right, thanks for watching. March update? Nah, next time. Have a good night. All right, cheers, bye.